Congratulations to our University of Birmingham graduands. Here we are in the Great Hall at the heart of the Edgbaston campus. Attendees, mostly graduands and their friends and family, are seated. Here are the student musicians. now we're getting started. Here's the first of our 2 mace bearers beginning the ceremony. The centenary mace bearer is usually a staff member who has volunteered to take part in the ceremony. The mace bearer enters through the back of the Great Hall and leads a procession of staff to the stage. Squire Bedell, who is the second of the 2 mace bearers, follows. The maces are placed on stage for the duration of the ceremony.
Open. Good afternoon, everybody, and a huge welcome to a very wet Birmingham this afternoon. It's really lovely to see so many people here on Friday evening. Thank you very much for coming. As the Vice-Chancellor, it's a real pleasure to welcome you, our graduands, and your friends, your family, and your supporters to your graduation ceremony. We're all here to celebrate you, to celebrate your hard work, your dedication, and your resilience. Today marks the culmination of this part of your educational journey. You chose the University of Birmingham because you wanted to be part of a vibrant community in a fabulous city which champions excellence, fosters innovation, and encourages a thirst for knowledge. During your time with us, we've emerged from a global pandemic which has impacted all of our lives in a way that we could never have imagined. We've witnessed the terrible invasion of Ukraine and the ongoing war. And of course, everybody is experiencing significant pressures as a result of the high rates of inflation. In times like this, the power of relationships is critical. As a university, we see this power in our partnership with Ivan Franko University in Lviv, which is helping to support the conservation of Ukrainian higher education. We see it as we host academics fleeing war and conflict from many other parts of the world. And we see it in the work that we do with our Guild of Students to support students in managing the cost of living crisis. All of your journeys to reach this point will have not been what you were expecting. They will have been journeys marked by challenge and growth, by moments of doubt and moments of inspiration. But you're here today having overcome all barriers and having achieved your goals nevertheless. So just for a second, stop and think about what you've achieved. Your stories all may be different, but they'll all have common threads. You'll have explored new ideas, experienced the thrill of intellectual discovery. You'll have tackled seemingly insurmountable problems and overcome them. You've met new people who've inspired you in many ways, and you would have made friends that will last a lifetime. You've expanded your horizons, challenged assumptions, and developed the critical thinking skills necessary to thrive in the world that awaits. So I hope that as you look back on all of this, you'll feel a huge sense of pride in yourselves. Today's an important step in your journey, a moment to celebrate your tenacity, your determination, and the drive that you've shown to reach your goals. You now have the opportunity to apply your expertise to make an even bigger difference. Those of us sitting on the stage are looking at you to address the needs of the world now and into the future. And of course, this need has never been greater. The world's rapidly changing. Society faces complex and interconnected challenges, and you're the leaders and the innovators who will shape our future. It's our hope that your time here at the University of Birmingham will have given you the tools that you need to embrace this role with understanding, with confidence, and with compassion. Your actions have the power to make a difference. Make sure you make a positive one. As you embark on the next chapter of your story, let's take a moment to recognise those who've been instrumental in all of your successes to date. Sitting behind me, I was going to say just some of our university community. It looks like we've got almost the entire staff of the university here today. Sitting behind me are the people who've encouraged your intellectual curiosity, nurtured your creativity, and inspired you to question and to explore. You've been supported by myriad people, by tutors and student support staff as well. And I'd like to suggest that we give a huge round of applause to the people who've helped you along the way. And sitting between us and the graduates and watching live online from around the world, with tissues and cameras, certainly I've seen lots of cameras ready, are your friends, your families and your supporters who are so proud of everything that you've achieved. You'll all have that person or people who believed in you, people who supported you, showed you kindness, without whom you wouldn't be here. So graduates, let's give a round of applause to everybody who's helped you along the journey. Soon, you'll be graduates of the University of Birmingham. As you come up on the stage, the moment where I hand you the scroll is the moment you become a graduate. Enjoy the time. Family and friends, if you want to, do feel free to give applause and make a noise. And before I finish, I've just got one final piece of advice. These stairs can be quite steep. We do have sometimes people falling down the stairs. We've arranged a wonderful set of laps in the front row for you to fall into. And if you do, then please be reassured it's on camera in perpetuity. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I hope you really enjoy your ceremony.
Now for the handing of the scrolls. The graduands will walk from the left of the stage to the centre and collect their scroll from the conferring officer. After they're congratulated, they'll walk off stage.
Vice-Chancellor and Principal, to you and to the University, I present the names of these graduates as listed in my programme, proved worthy to be admitted to their respective degrees.
By virtue of my authority as Vice-Chancellor, I hereby admit those people presented in the programme to the degrees to which they have been stated.
College of Medical and Dental Sciences, Master of Research, Fatma Reis Ben Manufos. Victoria Naduta Mugo. Institute of Applied Health Research, Doctor of Medicine, for research into factors influencing patient choice of type of breast reconstruction, Dinesh Lang. For research into integrated care for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, Ketan Patel. Doctor of Philosophy, for research to identify and develop approaches for understanding the costs and outcomes of sexually transmitted infection control programmes to inform local decision-making in England, Sonia Charlotte Margot Bloch. For research into the link between financial literacy and mental well-being, Naijay Guan. For research into how patients and clinicians view risks of location of acute medical care, Kira Harris. For research into the measurement of quality of life for family carers, Carol McLaughlin. For research into the impact of the COVID-19 on surgical care, Dmitry Nepodyev. For research into the association between the reproductive health of young women and cardiovascular disease throughout the life course, Kelvin Odidi Umbo Okoth. For research into ways to increase exclusive breastfeeding in Nigeria, Tolupe Florence Olufunlego. For research into predicting the diagnosis of HIV using information recorded in primary care records, Benhilda Nayurezo Rumbe Weri Dube. For research into the burden of polycystic ovary syndrome and its association with adverse outcomes, Anudra Subramanian. Master of Public Health full-time, Anita Oninaichi Ayenrim. Foram Katsuria. Master of Science, Health Economics and Econometrics, Aisha Ibtihaj Hussain. Health Economics and Health Policy, Hima Moore. Jara Fati. Bachelor of Medical Science, History of Medicine, Alicia Cooper. Charlotte Early. Sherlyn Rebecca Sherwin. Molly Turner. Alicia Vanukas. Dorota Maria Zach. Institute of Cancer and Genomic Sciences, Doctor of Philosophy, for research into human papillomavirus oncogene transcription control in oropharyngeal carcinoma, Megan Burley. For research into post-translational modifications in DNA damage response, Abigail Farrell. For research into the DNA damage responses of the nervous system in neurodegenerative disease, Charlotte George. For research into the mechanisms of DNA repair in breast cancer stem cells, Matthew Stewart Gillespie. For research into a remote pathway for assessment of the healing of the surgical wound in low and middle-income countries, James Glasby. For research into the investigation of how the sumo-activating enzyme is regulated, Alexander Lantz. For research into a new treatment device within colorectal surgery, Jan Elizabeth Lee. For research into how cancer-causing human papillomavirus causes changes to host metabolism, Carmine Louise Majon. For research into the position, nature, and signaling responsiveness of cis-regulatory elements in the mammalian genome driving hematopoietic specification, Alexander Matum. For research into the role and value of patient voice in understanding inflammatory diseases, Samantha Claire Pendleton. For research into the molecular determinants of radiosensitivity in rectal cancer using organoid models, Kaysen Shalitha Waringasuriya. For research into the role of protein synthesis factors in human disease, Christian Alexander Edward Westrip. For research into the transcriptional dynamics and mechanisms of genome activation in the vertebrate embryo, Kasper Wozniak. For research into communications between tumor cells and immune cells in inflammatory breast cancer, Ying Zhang. For research into developing clinical imaging and machine learning to diagnose children's brain tumors, Dadi Zhao. Master of Research, Laura Hawkins. Molly Elizabeth Houston. Anna Kate Munsey. Master of Science, Bioinformatics, Benifer Samuel Benjamin. Clinical Oncology, Apti Khanna. Genomic Medicine, Georgiana Nakulo. Sanem Sertung. Bachelor of Medical Science, Clinical Sciences, Hasini Ubese Kuru. Abba Akua. Prubir Singh Devgan. Marcin Koalisic. Omar Mubak. Arjan Singh Shankar. Sherin Juliet Thambu. Clinical Sciences, Immunotherapy, Robert Bryce. Clinical Sciences, Cancer Sciences, Guy Duncan Ashcroft Lurie. Charles Edward Brockwell. Maximus Timothy Holloway. Alice Louise Scott. Paul Sanjay Sundaram. Felix Louis Abraham Swirsky. Clinical Sciences, Cardiovascular Sciences, Sebastian James Fox. Evan Joseph Hardy. Movin Thanuka Buanathjith Paramuna Gamage. Clinical Sciences, Endocrinology and Metabolism, Dylan Arukshan Chith Uranjan. Clinical Sciences, Reproduction and Women's Health, Lila Bell. Emma Campbell-John. Georgina Ruby Ann Grummett. Emma May Harrison. Martha Amy Ellen Hogg. Kezia King. Asana Sivakumar. Amy Grace Turner. Grace Mary Westland. Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences, Doctor of Medicine, for research into role of atrial fibrillation on epidemiology of peripheral arterial disease, Antonius Vitalis. Doctor of Philosophy, for research into examining the role of galectin-9 in T-cell trafficking in the context of inflammation, Adel Mohamed Abo Mansour. For research into mechanisms underlying resistant hypertension, Reem Nasser Al-Shari. For research into the molecular and functional consequence of a patient-found mutation to cardiomyopathy, Ahmad Joseph Singh Azad. For research into development of models for testing of new drugs against the platelet receptor CLEC2, Helena Brown. For research into new potential treatments for patients with heart attacks, Maan Hisham Harbi. For research into the effects of aging on the ability of the adiponectin peptide pathway to control leukocyte trafficking in mice and humans, Sophie Jo Hopkin. For research into collagen-induced thrombus formation, Natalie Yasmin Yus. For research into understanding the role of the C-type lectin CLEC14A in blood vessel growth, Philip Robert Morrison. For research into inheritable drivers of atrial arrhythmia, Laura Charlotte Summerfield. For research into the causes and illness of sudden death in the rare cardiomyopathy, Fabry disease, Ravi Kiran Vijapurapu. For research into novel methods of membrane protein extraction and their application on antiplatelet drug targets, Xu-Qing Wang. Institute of Clinical Sciences, Doctor of Philosophy, for disease on app-based digital technology for management cardiovascular disease, Shad Khalid Kafi Al-Arki. For research into empowering and extending the role of community pharmacists in Saudi Arabia, Basma Abdulaziz Al-Babtain. For research on pharmacy care for young people with long-term conditions, Mohammed Abdul Rahman Al-Mumaf. For research into adherence to secondary preventive medications in stroke patients and the role of the hospital pharmacists in management of stroke in Saudi Arabia, Syed Ahmed Al-Takimi. For research into the safe use of medicines in patients with renal failure, Wadia Saad Al-Rukiub. For research into the development and characterization of hydrogels and aerogels for the localized treatment of cancer, Shakur Thurabit Al-Sharif. For research into the evaluation of the mouthfeel of orodispersible tablets, Abdullah Ahmed Asiri. for research into the extent of monitoring cardiovascular and metabolic side effects in patients prescribed antipsychotic medicines in primary care, Ruba Saleh Afzar Ali. For research into the characterization of the pediatric gastrointestinal tract to improve in silico modeling platforms, Jan Hulen. Master of Science, Lina Mohammed Ahmad Nasrallah. Jonathan David Ward. Master of Pharmacy, M.Pharm, 4-year, full-time, Victoria Adedio Agururuku. Daniel Ahmed. Mastan Hadi Ahmed. Charmark Ali. Muhammad Junyad Ali. Darrell Berenice Sopi Afanu. Ayla Kinza Aslam. Hanan Singh Badisha. Lucy Beldabos. Shadia B. Shemsa Bizimana. Aladoin Aluwadi Limiliadi Bola Alji. Bezalel Bovas. Isabel Campbell. Chloe Cheng. Sammy J. Colborne. Kira Corliss. Anushka Degla. Gursimran Kaur Garcha. Yasmin Hammam. Amanda Haidari. Dylan Hira. Ola Alua Shuibome Oyindika Asola Ige. Justina Jacob. Louis Thomas Judd. Rachel Junaid. Rabia Khan. Abir Ala Hosni Mohammed Qadir. Scarlett Kleiman. Salome Fungai Kujgara Wuganuza. Jonathan Lamb. Hei Long Lee. Ka Chun Aaron Lee. Amy D. Leroy. Alvin Francis Lim. Lydia Millward. Laura Kate Mitchell. Cameron Raja Nagla. Devika Kaur Nadran. Isabella Nwakike. Adebisi Adole. Mercy Omaioe Ole Madad Milola One. Aksar Peerbooks. Chloe Feasy. Benjamin Phillips. Rebecca Pratt. Humaira Kadir. Arjun Rayat. Sana Riaz. Bethany Jane Roberts. Lucia Rosa Moreno. Sabin Sabu. Bilal Sadak. Niruja Sunmukathasan. Saman Shah. Amrit Singh Shergill. Charlotte Amber Jody Sims. Baljod Singh. Tanvir Singh. Christy Tang. Cynthia Thaiulahula. Mark Harris James Tagumi. Ryan Mark Worsfold. Hassan Yousaf. Anisa Zaman. Pharmacy with a year in computer science, Albert Agiman. Master of Science, Clinical Neuropsychiatry, Rupa Rudrappa. Physician Associate Studies, Sana Iqbal. Bushra Ali Wassa. Suranthini Yogamurthy. Master in Science, MSc, Ben Ewan Hammond. Joseph Pathiparampil Mano. Jasleen Kaur Moore. Bachelor of Science, Pharmaceutical Science, Faith Wakachuka. Bachelor of Medical Science, Clinical Sciences, Ophthalmology, Gabriel James Bellamy Place. Zara Sajad. Public Health and Population Sciences, Mayajabeen Farid. Anika Girl. Vivian Hodiva Grant. Hannah Laura Sanders Gray. Oliver Howell. Madeleine Hubner. Frederique Millicent Francis Adolphe Marie Janssen. Kizara Chloe Tiffany Locke. Robert John Edward McFarlane. Griffith Roberts. Toby William Rock. Agia Katrina Tadros. Holly Amber Wilson. Institute of Immunology and Immunotherapy, Doctor of Medicine, for research into learning how to better diagnose and manage autoimmune liver diseases. Catherine Joanna Arntz. Doctor of Philosophy, for research into molecular mechanisms and potential therapeutic targets in the treatment of inflammatory bowel disease, Sarah Akirur. For research into T-cell metabolism and function, Emma Louise Bishop. For research into the immune response to cancer, Isaac William Dean. For research into the applications of data science to improve healthcare outcomes, David Rees Greenwood. For research into the use of human hepatic organoids to understand the inflammatory consequences of ethanol exposure, Laura Elizabeth Harford. For research into the avoidance of autoimmunity, Ashley Richard Hudson. For research into vaccines against salmonella infections, San Jossi. For research into organ-specific antifungal immunity, Sally Mohammed. For research into the developmental biology of T cells, Callum Moore. For research into optimizing cancer immunotherapy, Silvia Panetti. For research into mechanisms of immune regulation in control of autoimmune disease, Konstantina Petcu. For research into advanced endoscopic techniques in the lower gastrointestinal tract, including use of electronic chemoendoscopy and Raman spectroscopy ex vivo, Samuel Charles Lloyd Smith. For research into the role of the Icarus family of proteins in inflammatory bowel disease, Jagdeep Sond. For research into potential new treatments for liver disease and liver cancer, Alex Wilkinson. Master of Science, Immunology and Immunotherapy, Paige Kirby. Institute of Inflammation and Aging, Doctor of Philosophy. For research into the effects of cigarette smoke extract and activity of lymphoid tyrosine phosphatase in human T-cell biology, Abdullah Mesfer Al-Ghamdi. For research into small airways dysfunction in asthma, Mohammed Ahmed Al-Mashari. For research into the mechanisms driving sarcopenia in chronic liver disease, Amritpal Kaur Dhaliwal. For research into cigarette smoking cessation and the development of post-operative pulmonary complications after lung surgery, Sebastian Lugg. For research into inflammation within rheumatic diseases, Julia Elizabeth Manning. For research into how a serious injury or surgery can increase biological age, Jack Sullivan. For research into the consequences of hospital stays on muscle function in older people, Carly Welch. For research into the causes of sarcopenia in patients with chronic liver disease, Felicity Williams. For research into early chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, Kay Por Yip. Master of Science, Jared Thomas. Master of Science, Trauma Science, Robert Walwark. Institute of Metabolism and Systems Research, Doctor of Philosophy, for research into the diagnosis and treatment of endometrial pathology uterizing hysteroscopy, Pratibha Madhubhasha de Silva. For research into diversity within the pancreatic beta cell, Nicholas Hugh Francis Fine. For research into assessing the reproductive and endocrine outcomes from ovarian tissue transplantation, as well as understanding the patient perspectives of the ovarian tissue cryopreservation and transplantation procedures, Hajara Khatak. For the research of the role of the FFR-AR4 on lipolysis and the capability of the receptor to signal from intracellular compartments in a simple cell model and also in adipocytes, Emma Tripp. For research into proline metabolism in hypoxic tumours, Lisa Vettori. For research into the roles that steroids and their metabolism play in inflammatory muscle wasting diseases, Justine Michelle Webster. For research into small airways dysfunction in asthma, Rebecca Louise Westbrook. Master of Science, Christina Clavello Farrow. Saida Huda Farid. Mejubi Mula. Institute of Microbiology and Infection, Doctor of Philosophy, for research into the identification of a novel antimicrobial against Helicobacter pylori, the causative agent of gastric cancer, Dana Abdul Rahman Al-Fawaz. For research into gut bacteria and their antibiotic resistance genes, Gregory Elliott McCallum. For research into the immune response against Neisseria gonorrhoeae, Samantha Anastasia McCand. Institute of Clinical Sciences, Master of Pharmacy, M.Pharm 4-year full-time, Ruth Ayin. Nanika Catherine Morma. Hazina Safi. Crystal Gazy. I will now ask those graduates who are healthcare professionals to please stand as we lead. I will lead you in the Declaration for University of Healthcare Professions. This is based on the duties of a doctor from the General Medical Council of 2013. So, healthcare professionals, please stand. If you will then repeat after me, line by line. In accepting my degree today, I recognise that I embark upon a career involving care of patients, families and loved ones. I promise to reflect on and uphold in all I do my duty as a healthcare professional, and to put the care of patients at the heart of all my actions. I shall treat all patients with compassion and respect. I shall listen and explain, so they may reach decisions on their care and on their treatment. I shall never compromise the safety or the dignity or comfort of my patients, nor shall I discriminate against them or my colleagues. I shall justify the trust placed in me by patients and by individuals, and by society by working with integrity. I shall keep my knowledge up to date. When I make mistakes, I shall acknowledge them with candour to my patients and report them. I shall learn from error. I understand that I alone must take responsibility for all I do and be prepared to justify my acts and my decisions. I declare that I will justify the privilege that the award of my degree bestows on me. Please sit. I'd now like to introduce our student representative who will give a speech on behalf of the graduating cohort, Baljot Singh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, faculty members, honoured guests, and my fellow graduates. I hope you're having an amazing evening so far. Before I introduce myself, I want to say a huge congratulations to everyone here and extend a massive thank you to the faculty staff for the amazing ceremony and their dedication, support throughout our time at the university. So let's give them a big round of applause to celebrate this incredible achievement. Now that my nerves have calmed down a bit, please allow me to introduce myself. I am Baljot Singh, a proud graduate in pharmacy, and it's an honor to stand before you today, as I think I can officially say, as an ex-student at the University of Birmingham. Being a student at UOB was more than just part of my introduction. It became an integral part of my identity throughout these years, and I'm certain it holds the same significance for you. From the moment we stepped foot onto the campus, we became part of a community dedicated to excellence, growth, and making a positive impact in the field of pharmacy and many other healthcare professions. Sitting in our first lecture, as you remember, in Robert Aitken, to countless hours spent in libraries and last-minute revision session in the CM rooms, the memories we've created will forever hold a special place in our hearts. And tonight, as I look out, I can see the joy, the pride in the smiles. But we know behind each smile lies a story of hard work, resilience, and determination. And so do take a moment to reflect and celebrate this incredible journey of 4 years. And when I was asked to talk about some highlights of my time at the university, I couldn't help but to think of one particular chapter that united us all, the era of black screens. Yes, I'm talking about the unforgettable period of online learning, and during our first and second year of uni, it was a time when Zoom became our classrooms and black screen became our classmates. And I'm sure the staff will remember more, because I think for them, it was difficult for us to turn the screens on than to actually teach the session. But despite the challenges, we adapted and we learned. And in our third year, as we transitioned back into in-person classes, we experienced the joy of rediscovering small little things and creating lasting memories, genuine memories of the university life that we missed in the past 2 years. And how can we forget the final year, where our best friends became mannequins, Julie might know, as we practiced our clinical skills for OSCEs and owned our expertise. Through it all, we supported one another, laughed together, formed bonds that will endure beyond these halls. These experiences have shaped us into becoming resilient and adaptable professionals in the near future. Opportunities have been abundant throughout my time at the university. It's provided me with numerous chances to grow, learn, and make a difference. Having had the privilege to represent you for 4 years, and as a Vice President of PharmSoc as well, I've learned the power of collaboration, leadership, and the impact every single individual can have here within the community. And have provided me with a platform to give back to the school that has given us so much. With the skills and knowledge, the university has laid foundation for us to seize new opportunities, embark on exciting ventures, and make a positive impact on the world around us. So as one chapter closes, always remember that the new chapter will start with a brand new title, with a brand new journey. Graduation is not an endpoint, but a stepping stone towards new opportunities and adventures. Whether you'll be starting your foundation training year, further education, getting married, looking at one in particular, it's a chance to write the next chapter of our lives, filled with exciting challenges and unforgettable memories. But none of this would have been possible without the unwavering support of our peers, friends, and families. So I want to take a moment to express my gratitude, firstly to God, as we say Vaheguru, for the determination and providing me with the strength, to our friends and families, my dad who's always guided me through the right path, my mom being there as a place of comfort. Without your support, I wouldn't be here today. Additionally, our heartfelt thank you goes to the staff, not only to the dedicated academics, but the admin staff, placement supervisors, and every individual who have tirelessly worked behind the screens for us. Your continued support and guidance and inspiration have been invaluable. And finally, to my fellow graduates, it's been an incredible experience learning alongside each and every one of you. Together, we've shared laughter, tears, made lifelong moments, and will forever be etched in our hearts. As we embark on this new chapter of our lives, I have no doubt that each and every one of you will seize the opportunities that lie ahead and make a lasting impact in the field of pharmacy and other professionals. To keep things short and simple, as if I haven't spoken much anyway, I will end this speech by wishing you all a good luck on your future endeavors. May the journey that lies ahead of you be filled with incredible experiences and personal growth. Now, let's all together walk out of this hall with our head held high with pride, ready to take the symbolic walk under our very own Old Joe, proudly calling ourselves the University of Birmingham Class of 2023. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Balja, for a truly inspirational student speech. As Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Head of the College of Medical Dental Sciences, it's my great privilege to bring this ceremony to a close. Given I am the only person standing between you and what is, I am sure, a comprehensive schedule of celebrations long into the night, I will be brief. Now that you are graduates of the University of Birmingham, you join the ranks of a community of alumni who have left an indelible impact on society. From groundbreaking research and transformational discoveries to innovative entrepreneurship and influential leadership, the footprints of our alumni can be found everywhere you look. If you walk down the corridors either side of this great hall, you will see museum objects, prototypes, manuscripts, and photographs that tell the stories of groundbreaking research and discovery that was created here at the university. This includes the work of Dame Hilda Lloyd, who was our first female professor and the first female president of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Dame Hilda's work saved the lives of many pregnant women and their babies, with a particular focus on the underprivileged populations across our cities. This groundbreaking work continues today. Birmingham researchers work with international partners to address pressing global issues, including climate change, infectious diseases, poverty alleviation, and sustainable development. The university's initiatives and projects have influenced policy decisions, improved lives, and contributed to the well-being of communities all over the globe. Just last week, we marked 75 years of the National Health Service. Treating over 1 million people a day in England, the NHS touches all of our lives, and since 1948 has evolved and adapted to meet the needs of each successive generation. Each year, we train more than 900 students, including you, in the areas of health and biological research. Some of you will become the frontline healthcare workforce of the future, and others will work with our NHS colleagues to understand disease, develop new treatments and technologies that will save millions of lives worldwide. Indeed, some of you who have been carrying out research in the last few years have already made significant contributions to these areas of biomedical understanding. The exhibition provides just a few examples of how we change lives through our research and education. But we also have an impact on the world around us in other ways. Last year, we hosted in our city, during the Commonwealth Games, people from all over the world. Many of you will have taken part in the Games as volunteers, as spectators, and even some of our students as participants and competitors. This year, I'm delighted to say that we will host the International Blind Sports Federation World Games, and we're working with the city to make sure we build on this legacy of our sporting events and the excitement and enthusiasm they provoke. But whatever is going on campus, we will always be pleased to see you, and we very much hope you will stay in touch and come back to visit us. In a few minutes' time, you'll walk out as graduates of the University of Birmingham and celebrate with your fellow students, your family and friends. This marks the end of one chapter of your life, but the beginning of many adventures to come. You are now part of this university's rich legacy, and we look forward to seeing your contributions, which will inspire future generations of students. Our careers service remains open to you, and our fantastic alumni relations team run events for recent graduates and can connect you with alumni all over the world. After you have finished celebrating today, I hope you will have time for a quiet moment of reflection. If this is the case, I hope you cherish the memories of your time here, the friendships you forged, and the effort dedication, and countless late nights you put into achieving your degree. As you move forward into the next chapter of your lives, you may know exactly what you're going to do, or you might still be considering a range of options. As you consider what next, I hope you will remember the transformative power of education and science, the importance of lifelong learning, and the profound impact that you can have on the lives of others. Strive to make a difference in your communities, extend a helping hand to those in need, and champion the causes that ignite your passion. The world needs compassionate leaders, ethical professionals, and engaged citizens like you. You can shape a more inclusive, just, and sustainable society. It has been an enormous privilege for me to be here, to witness the sense of joy on your faces, and to experience the immense pride evident on the faces of those who are here to share in this memorable occasion with you. Your success serves as a testament to our institution, and you should all be as proud of yourselves as we are of you. You enter the Great Hall today as graduands, but you leave as graduates of the University of Birmingham. You can look back with genuine pride on what you have achieved. Class of 2023, many, many congratulations.
Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the university, normally at this stage I'd close the ceremony, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to indulge me for a minute or two. Even though it's a Friday evening, and I know, as David said, you'll be very keen to celebrate together. Today, of course, is mainly a day of celebration for all the graduates here. But it's also a day when, 47 years after arriving at the University of Birmingham as an undergraduate student to study to be a doctor, 47 years later, David Adams, who you've just heard from, is approaching retirement. This is David's very last graduation ceremony. David's father was the research chemist at Boots in Nottingham who discovered ibuprofen. So David had very big shoes to fill. I have to say, things didn't look so good at the beginning. As a Birmingham student, he had tickets to see Joy Division. Not everybody will know who Joy Division are, but they were one of the most important bands of their era. David decided that far more interesting than to go to see Joy Division would be to go to a party. And he decided he gave up the opportunity. 3 days later, the lead singer died, and David missed out on one of the most important and iconic moments of music of the post-punk era. Despite this major setback to his life, David graduated here in this hall in 1981 with his MBCHB. He stayed at Birmingham for his training in hepatology and then went on to the National Cancer Institute in Bethesda, United States to study immunology. He subsequently received his MD from Birmingham in 1990. And David has dedicated his life to service in at least 5 areas. First of all, to the National Health Service. David has been and is a compassionate consultant who specialised in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and in transplant hepatology. And he's always been absolutely dedicated to training students and junior doctors. Second, he's dedicated his life to the cause of science. He's one of the world's most eminent researchers in liver immunology, and his research has been cited in nearly 50,000 research papers. It would also be hard to find a specialist committee or journal in his field that he hasn't run or served on. Thirdly, David served this great university. He was appointed to a chair professorship in 1997 and has been the very distinguished head of the College of Medical and Dental Sciences for the last 8 years. Fourthly, to Aston Villa Football Club. I think we probably should skate over that one fairly rapidly. And fifthly, David has been an amazing father and husband to his lovely family. And he has an extraordinary eminence in his field. He's a Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians and of the Academy of Medical Sciences. He is National Institute of Health Research Senior Investigator Emeritus, an honour confined to few academics who can demonstrate excellence in science, in patient care, in research leadership, and in policy impact. He's on the board of the Birmingham Women's and Children's Hospital, and he was recently appointed as Registrar of the Academy of Medical Sciences. And I could go on. But what I'm doing is I'm describing David's achievements rather than David. David, unlike most of us, has really earned the right to be arrogant. But he's humble, he's self-deprecating, and he is far more interested in other people than he is in himself. During his time as head of college, he's led a transformation into a research powerhouse, and one which is both ambitious and happy. And I think it's very telling that in our most recent staff survey, the College of Medical and Dental Sciences had the happiest staff in the whole of the university. So David, on behalf of me and the whole university, thank you for everything you've contributed in your role. You're widely respected and very much loved, and everybody here will miss you. I can now declare the congregation closed.
Congratulations to our new graduates. The attendees applaud our new graduating class. To close the ceremony, the maces are collected from the stage. The mace bearers lead the procession of staff and new graduates out of the Great Hall. The ceremony that completes the university journey for hundreds of Birmingham alumni is now closed.